Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. Hello, Rubber Tone. It's new to me. Nice to meet you, Lone Wolf. How you doing? Robin. It's nice to see you, Robin. And Kicking Bird. Hi, Donna. How are you? Peppy Two Bears. That's good. Everybody's showing up tonight. I'll talk about my title real quick, though we'll talk about much more than this. Is Trump below the law? Is that the way they're treating him? Like he's below the law? And Biden and son, what's going on with Biden and son? Well, we'll talk about that. And Soul of a Nation. I don't know if you heard that comment uh, by Sleepy Creepy, as many of our fellow creators call him, Sleepy Creepy Joe. I won't call him Uncle Joe. He's no uncle of mine. So, hi, Linda. How are you? And Marla's in. And Melinda. William, how are you? Ha ha. Let's see. Kathy. Bubba. How you doing, Bubba? Sherry. Everybody's making it in. And here's Wanda. How you doing, Wanda? Hi, Joan. Hi, Ann. Well, everybody's coming in. Um, well, as far as I know at this moment, there wasn't anything that I was hoping for in my sneaky little contemplations about something happening on April 1st to the baddies. But then again, you never know because they're not going to jump out and tell us everything, are they? Ha ha. Pink ant wave, Marla says. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Joan. Hi, Ann. Joyce. Whoops, you survived the storm, Sherry said. Mike, 1176, how you doing? Linda, how are you? Diane. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. Bless you too, honey. Hi, Jason. Ha ha. Jason said when Sleepy Joe said T is a threat to the nation, he's projecting like a typical leftist. Mirroring, isn't that right? We call it mirroring. Mema Patriot, how you doing? Welcome aboard. So you may have, some of you may have been with me for a while, but haven't been in the chats. I appreciate you all joining us in the chats. If you are tuning in after this broadcast, you can review the chats as the broadcast goes along. And I usually do a little chit chat with everybody so we can have people come in and we can have a good discussion about what's going on. Hi, William. Nice to meet you. Jersey Joe, how you doing? Diane, how you doing? Haha. Ann's pink hand waving. That's right, Wanda. T is a threat to their power. Dan Scavino put out a meme, and he also puts out a number of videos on truth and the other word is social. And one thing he put out uh, multiple times, I'm going to recall it here so I get it right. He puts out a video that I don't get tired of watching. I can tell you that. But it is where Mr. T is saying, uh, embrace being an outsider. Quote, relish the opportunity to be an outsider. Embrace that label. It's the outsiders who change the world. And I thought it was important to make sure I said something about that particular video, about when he said that in a speech, because there's no doubt to even a casual observer that the world is changing, and it's going to change quite a bit. But we don't want people in shock or trauma or afraid or anything like that. Hi, Dottie. Punisher. Let's see. What did Dottie bring up? Let's see. 7 indictments dropped today. Durham's a Punisher, right, Dottie? We got some another Punisher. I'll go over that when I can go over some drops without being too afraid of the ramifications. I got I got in a little trouble. You know, I told you all last week with Utizzle, and I got to cool it. Just watch myself. And I'm trying to think of who it was last night. At a couple of different times, they didn't use a letter instead of a vowel in certain words or names. And I got to give them a 5-minute timeout and tell them why, because it's the only way I can remove the comment. So, you know, most people can do 5 minutes, stand on their heads and come back in chats. But anyway, hopefully they'll make it back in. I ain't calling out any names. So let's see here. I had a fellow creator. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Deputy Dog. And Dottie said yes. He dropped 7 more indictments. Well, I'll tell you one I found out about. And I don't know if it was from Mr. T. Let me see here. Carly Bonney. Have you all ever heard of Carly Bonney? She had some breaking news about somebody named Michael T. Dolce, Dolce. Yeah, the noble experiment. I'm reading what you're saying there, Jason. Real noble. But anyway, Michael T. Dolce, who is a partner at the Palm Beach Gardens law firm Cohen, Milstein, Sellers, and Toll, which represents the DNC, and sued President Trump for them over J, and the other number is 6, was just arrested for possessing over 2,000 images of CHILD prawn. Okay, I just switched the letters around. So he's had over 2,000 images. He's a partner in a prestigious law firm, and a person who forwarded this, her name is Lisa Mello. A common denominator. And that's going to get a lot of them. We know it already shook up CNN big time. A lot of producers, a lot of people going down over that kind of stuff. Diane said she saw Fetterman today. Hi, MTC. How you doing? Yeah, MTC. You can't put his name in there like that. They'll take it. They'll cause trouble. Okay, MTC. Use a 1 for eyes. MTC. Okay. Because his name's verboten, and I don't know. If please take it down for me, MTC, please. Oh, you're putting up a puke face. You don't like. Well, here's what I'll do, my MTC, till I figure out what's going on. You come back in 5 minutes because I got to take that name down. It's not my rules. It's not my rules. Okay. So you come back in 5 minutes. And we'll talk some more. MTC, okay? All right. So like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, somebody gets a 5-minute thing. It's the only way I can remove inappropriate comments or comments that are not helpful for us to be able to continue our conversation. I'll talk to anybody. Somebody says I got no sound. Bubba, do you got sound now, Bubba? You must. Haha. Mike says he gave 410. Anything to find, they would have found it. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Mike. 41020. I don't know what we're going on with that. So forgive me, Mike, for not catching on. I'm sorry. Okay, I got sound now. 5x5. Okay, good. Oh, sound is back. Okay, I lost sound somehow. I don't know how, folks. Could be wind. I don't know. But anyway, I guess maybe MTC couldn't hear me. Might have been the problem. But if you can hear me, MTC, it's 5 minutes. Well, 4 minutes by now. Hi, Damon. How you doing? So hopefully he heard me at some point. But anyway, let's see. All right, I'm 5x5. Thought I wanted code. Oh, 41020, Mr. T. Yeah. Mr. T's code good enough. I mean, I don't do numbers. Yeah, it's windy, outlandish. I think it might have been what knocked my sound out. The wind gets between the satellites and the phones. But anyway, I'm losing my track here. The chats are going by. And as you all know, Nikki, let's all hope Nikki's having a good time in Florida. And if you're listening, Nikki, we're all thinking about you, Nikki B. And you have a good time while you're down there. Don't you worry about nothing. Ha ha. Dottie, yeah, that was a meme. All right. I see what you're saying. Marla's got internet dipping in and out. Yeah, it's an issue in high winds. Hi, Cindy. How you doing? She says, sounds great. That's good. Sunny all day in Northern California, Kathy said. Well, we'll be down there in a little bit. We'll stop by and see you tomorrow, all of us. Ha ha ha. We'll bring our Trump signs and Trump flags. Ha ha ha. Now they had a big turnout down in Mar-a-Lago, and Mr. T came out to see everybody in Mar-a-Lago handing out hats. Hi, Rick. How you doing? So, I mean, everybody's taking it well, and everybody knows that they're trying to get a reaction out of us. Now, Pierce Morgan put something out, an interesting tweet concerning Joe Biden and the royal family, Prince Charles. And nothing found, Mike says. Oh, when they did the RAID, the raid of Mar-a-Lago. But anyway, Piers Morgan said on Twitter, not impressed that President Biden has reportedly turned down his invitation to King Charles's coronation. Huge moment in British history. And whatever you think of him, I'm certain Donald Trump would have gone if he were still president. Now, that's Piers Morgan, who never did care for Donald Trump, saying, he would have acted much more presidential than Biden concerning this coronation, which is a big moment in British history. Now, my question is, did he turn them down, or did they just send him a note saying, don't bother coming? That's what I'm worried. I'm not worried about it, but that's what I'm wondering. I think it might have been more like, yeah, Joe, don't bother coming. And then Joe said, well, I had to turn it down. Ooh, boy, you got some heavy weather, outlandish. James, welcome aboard. Just want to say about all caps all the time. Utizel views is shouting. So in the future, if you can limit your capital letters, we appreciate it. We appreciate you coming into the chats. And if you use any touchy words, you know what I mean? Touchy words, put a number instead of a vowel, like a 4 for an A or 1 for an I. You know, if you use any words that Utizel might turn their head looking at me hard. See what I'm saying? Hi, David. Hi, Jamie. Nick's Creations, how you doing? Kate Middleton's having her fourth child. Well, they're keeping the royal line going, aren't they? But anyway, Piers Morgan, that apparently that is something that the British people take very seriously, how their history and their events are being treated, especially by foreign powers. And that's okay, James. That's all right, buddy. I understand. We can see what you type. Don't you worry, James. You know, a few capital letters is good, but they're weird about this stuff. You know, I just got to keep on my toes. We all got to keep on our toes. I'll tell you, Madonna. Did you all hear about Madonna announces new concert in Nashville to raise money for trans rights groups, not the victims of what happened. Some words I can't use, right? I can't use the words in the article, but you get the point, right, folks? Hi, Joel. So this demonic thing here, I'm sorry. I'm looking at a photo of her right now, and her mouth looks like a toilet plunger. You know, I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, but I looked at it and I thought, you know, you could really clear a sink drain with that. But anyway, in a move even more disgusting than her Botox-filled face, Madonna is heading to Nashville, not to fundraise for the families of victims of the Covenant School you-know-whating, but for trans rights groups. So I tell you, I'm going to get into it since we got a lot of people in the chats. I was watching where a lot of people are talking about the shoes. How many people have heard about the business about the shoes on this person? And it all of a sudden gets into, what does it get into? Gets into a rabbit hole. We talked a little bit about rabbit holes last night, that we're marching. And you don't want to step in a rabbit hole. The story itself was that ended up getting out and being the prevailing understanding of people around the world was that someone, of course, had to be mentally disturbed to do what they did. Okay, not talking about any group. I'm just saying, for somebody to do what they did, a mentally disturbed person went in that school in a violent fashion and ended the lives of young people and three adults, three young people and three adults. And it was horrific, and everybody's condemning it. And there was no question about what this person was troubled over, right? Now we have pictures coming out. Oh, here's a pair of shoes. I saw them. I listened to videos. And then it goes into Sandy Hook, or, you know, all this other stuff. I'm telling you, folks, I put up a thumbnail in the past with my cell phone. I put Joe Biden's head on a cat that is being petted by Klaus, and his last name is Schwab, right? I was able to put a cat's head, Joe Biden's face on a, and I've got a goofy little phone, and I barely know how to Photoshop. So what I'm saying is, for whatever reason, that video's out there where somebody has different shoes on. Why interrupt and distract from the story that a terribly disturbed person did terrible things and we need to pay attention? Well, don't you know, we start coming up with the business of the different shoes. Hi, Araceli. How you doing? Nice to see you again. Yes, praying for our great country and love, and Mr. T. Love and blessings to all. Thank you. We appreciate it, sweetheart. That's right, James. Look, you're not there. Because, so what if they put a different person in and took pictures? Like I said, it may be a situation where they have the person and they're a valuable witness. And they want to tell everybody, yeah, they bought the farm. But what good does it do to make it seem like the situation is never happened? I mean, who has taken any kind of credit for trying to discredit the action? It's just like I'm saying with these people that are saying Ashley Babbitt's still alive. What good is that doing? What if it was an operation to show how far these people will go? Why do you want to? What does that do to a grieving mother like Ashley's mother, with all this conspiracy stuff and rabbit holes? And what does this do for the memory of those kids? And I would encourage people to stay out of that. To stay out of that, because we need to learn, we need to know, people need to see that what is happening to so many of our young people, what is happening to so many of our young people is they are being put into a dangerous mindset that is not conducive to living a happy life. It is part of the culture of death John Paul talked about, Pope John Paul. Starfire, that may be the case. Yeah, no all caps, because we don't have, well, James has got trouble with his eyesight. He's putting brief comments up. I remember when Red had trouble with his eyesight, he would put type in caps. Just as long as it's not a big rant. Anyway, I've just checked to see who's in here. Thank you, Bubba, for pointing that out. Well, James, you're going a little too, no. Well, I guess we're going to do that again. We're going to do 5 minutes till we can figure something else out. Because I can't have the caps repeated. So anyway, so do you all get what I'm saying about the shoes? Because somebody posted this AFF, and everybody knows what that means. I'll say a false, and then the second word is flag attacks. Don't mean it's FAKE and that people didn't lose their lives. The sick truth is that an FF means people are set up to DIE for a political agenda. Time to wake up. So that's the thing. We can't let another psyop come in to get people to chase down what kind of shoes somebody was wearing 1 minute, and the next picture shows different shoes, and not talk about the horrors of that day, because they do so much to put that to bed in the public eye anyway. We don't need to contribute. I mean, look what they did to get it off the front story. They indicted Mr. T and leaked the indictment, a federal offense. Hi, Caroline. How are you? Human sacrifice. That's right. Will there be RIOTS when Mr. T turns himself in? I don't believe so. We're peaceful. Trump has said he will cooperate. He's showing the difference between us and them. Nikki, how are you doing, honey? She came in. How you doing, Nikki? I hope you're having a good time in Florida. So Starfire, I say no. And if somebody does on our side does start trouble, they are not down with the program, and they're not playing follow the leader. And Mr. T said he's going to cooperate, and the Secret Service is arranging things, and they're going to go through this. That's Mr. T's choice, and he's told us to be peaceful, and that's what we're going to do. And I think if there is trouble, it's going to be started by actors. That's right, James. God wins this for sure. Hey, I'll put it on the screen for you, James. Now that you got it down with the caps. You're doing it regular. Thank you, my friend. And Jason says, it's not us I'm worried about doing something. It's the people that like to dress like us. Yes, well, we're aware of that. And Starfire says, I'm wondering if I could travel to Oregon that day. I don't know. Oh, that's a crazy. Well, now, why would they cause trouble? They would be happy. They would be celebrating. Wouldn't they in Oregon? They'd be like New Orleans. They'd be, let the saints come marching in. If that happened, Mr. Trump. Yeah, I bet it is hard to drive through Portland. You could put a purple wig on. Put a purple wig on and a nose ring. You're right, James. He is. So, well, I tell you, Reba, we had a good little go round last night. We didn't have anybody coming out in with problems. I gave a guy named MTG. Back at you, Nikki. I put you out on screen. Much love to you all. Back at you. We had MTG. I don't know if he's coming back or not. His 5 minutes is long up, but I don't see him anywhere. He got a timeout, and we got a little capital letter thing straightened out. Ha 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 ha. And Mr. T loves Spotlight. Dottie said, well, I'll tell you what. Who said? Ian said that in the chat. Is Ian in tonight? He said it in the chats last night. I want a mugshot mug. He wants a coffee mug with Mr. T's mugshot on it. And one of the younger creators, Sticks Hexenhammer, said, Trump is going to make the most out of this mugshot. He's going to go in there and he's going to say, wait a minute, I want you to take another one. Let me see what you got. Oh, no, I want to smile this way. I want to turn my eyes this way. No, that one's not good enough. Do it again. And wait, and he's going to make sure he gets the perfect mugshot. And they'll probably make more money off of merchandise for that thing than you can imagine. You'll have the people that hate Trump buying merchandise with his mugshot, and you'll have the people that love him. So because we know what it is. Let me tell you, I think it would be, now that I think about it, it would be the right move is to let them do their dirty work, do your dirty deed for the world to see. Even though, as I said, the Secret Service is going to be very protective over him, they are doing what Erdogan said: keep your filthy hands off of us, you demons. He called them Satan worshipers. So, yeah, that is going to Orange Man Dad. Get it? Well, I was talking last night about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden because Trump said, "Where's Hunter Biden in his comment?" Well, I said I wouldn't be surprised if Joe doesn't even know where Hunter is. Maybe Hunter's given a statement or under protective custody or something before losing a laptop. But somebody put out today. Let me see who it was. Somebody put out a photo today of Joe and Hunter with some other family members having like a dinner or a lunch in Philadelphia. Let me see. If I pull it up, I'll pull it up. It's a lot of people at the table, and it doesn't look like Hunter's sitting very close to his pappy. But who knows if the picture was taken today or not? For all we know, Hunter Biden could be under protective custody at a military base. But they say he had lunch with family members, and he was on the other side of the table as Joe, sitting about 3 seats down. Not even where to have to stand up and reach out to shake hands with his own father. He was a pretty good way. Ha ha, Rick said liberals love Trump, they just don't realize it yet. What James do? James is okay. It's James, it's CHYNA. Got to be careful. CHYNA. And use or you can say CH1NA, use a 1 for an I, because CHINA owns this platform we're on, and they don't like people talking bad about them. They'll take, they'll cause trouble, James. So be careful. Don't be confused, James. We got a little system. We got a little system so we can survive, and we'll walk you through it. Don't be confused. We'll walk you through it, buddy. Well, if you got a like V and then the other 2 letters are AX, you can't put that in there. It certainly can't spell it, the whole word out. VACC, EEN. You can't. In the chats, you got to put instead of VAX, you put V4X, because a 4 looks like an A. So that way it throws them off. But if we put words in that they don't like, they'll cause trouble for the channel. It's not your fault, James. And it's a shame we as American citizens can't just have free conversations. But that's what we're dealing with for now. You see down here, B-Dog's comment. He said he spelled Hunter's name HUNT3R, and that way it doesn't show up. The computer doesn't pick it up. See, and B-Dog spelled out SPA, spa. We know where the spa is. That's down in a little town called Gitmo, Cuba. I pronounce that Kuba, so they don't know I'm talking about Cuba. So that's the way we do it, James. And you hang in there with us, and we'll hang in there with you. So anyway, so who knows if Hunter really had a meal with his father or not? Even the Washington Post came out and said the indictment is a poor test case for prosecuting a former president. The Washington Post said that the campaign finance charge is, quote, shaky. So is that part of the Truth and Information Act that these people got to say something? Now, Jason spelled it. Okay, I see how you spelled it, Jason. And Nikki's putting some instructions in there for you, James, and anybody else that's joining and might want to say, hey, I want to be part of the chats, but I don't want to break your rules. So that's helps people figure it out. Oh my goodness, I lost my pictures. I hope I didn't lose my signal. Yeah, that's right, Debbie. Dip those toes in water, Nikki. Drink a beer for me, or a glass of wine. I'll take wine too. I'm not picky. I lost my picture. There was another story under there from Paul Sperry. Let me see if I can find it. I'll come across it. Let's see. Now everything's all shrunk up where I can barely. All the pictures. There we go. So I'll get back to that. Yeah, we missed you, Nikki. So did you hear Joe Biden? He said that certain community was part of the soul of our nation, that they helped build the soul of our nation. And I'm just saying what is publicly posted statistics, that the member of that particular group, TRANS, is less than 1% of the population, and that they have a over 40% you-know-what-aside rate. But I don't know what percentage of teachers they are. If they're 1% of the population and they're, 30% of the teachers? In some communities, way more than that, like in California. Yeah, the alphabet group, Richard said. That's right. So how does that happen? But Paul Sperry put out, take a moment to consider the absurdity of what President Trump has been investigated for and or impeached over. 1, false allegations from a Democrat-funded dossier. 2, a phone call with a foreign leader. 3, a speech on the ellipse. 4, presidential records. 5, tabloid stories. Of what they're accusing him of, as far as having any kind of criminal standing, the paucity of it is what they're showing themselves as. That you can smell the fear. That's right, Jason. The Unalive quite often. You must have watched Unalive. That's Fat and Opinionated uses that a lot. That's right, in our school. That's right, James. That's good using those emojis. We limit them to 3, and there you're doing good. You only use 2. I tell you, Reagan, when he's governor of California, he didn't put up with none of that stuff. Well, not 1 minute of it. The colleges gave him a hard time because they're a little harder to get a handle on. But he was a very popular governor in California. And this is I got my thumbnail from a post that Mr. T put up, where an article was written that said, this is a somber moment for America. If the reporting leading up to this indictment is borne out, this could turn out to be a case not of the former president being above the law, but below the law. That's if the reporting leading up to this indictment is borne out, and I believe it will be borne out. And we've got more and more a wider group of news agencies, a wider group of YouTube creators, a wider group of so I'll say social media creators that are focusing on this, that have never focused on this rift between common sense and madness. But Glenn Beck was on Tucker Carlson show, and he said the Trump indictment means war, currency collapse, and a virtual police state in the U.S. And also that America, I guess he's saying the old America, is at an end, and the left indicted Trump. The left indicted Trump because they want to provoke violence. Hi, Tennessee. How you doing, Engine 10? So that's getting out to more and more. And you remember Glenn Beck used to be on CNN. And then Pelosi stepped in and saying, everyone has a right to a trial to prove their innocence, which is completely, I was going to put in my title, bass backwards. Bass backwards. That's what Nancy had. She had it bass backwards. You don't go on trial to prove your innocence. It's a total misunderstanding of one of the founding principles of our Constitution. I see what you're saying there, Mark. General McInerney. Yeah, he's fun to watch. I might check that out. I'm just looking at chats. Let's see. Post-constitutional republic. That's what Jason's saying. Let's see here. Do I agree with Glenn Beck? Now, I don't believe it's the end of America. I do agree that they do want to provoke violence, and they're not going to get it. I think they're disappointed in the paucity of their, I'm going to use that word a lot tonight, that of the turnout for their troublemakers. They don't have anybody to pick on. And, the other points we shall see. But I don't think we're going to have a rebirth in America. We're going to reclaim a reclamation, I'll say, a reclamation of our country. We have got forces, entities, and groups that have taken away our guaranteed freedoms, and we're going to reclaim it. Yeah. Rick Pierce says Sharia law. We got a few in Congress that wants that. So anyway, so Nancy made herself look like an idiot once again. And all the people in support, like Glenn Youngkin of Virginia, a lot of politicians, they're saying, hey, we better make public statements in support of Trump, because they know now Trump has said it enough that he is going to find out the good ones, the bad ones, the strong ones, the weak ones. He's going to weed them out. And if they want to be seen as a weed, they can sit there and be quiet. If they want to be part of our reclamation of our nation, I'm doing Jesse Jackson again. Okay. The reclamation of our nation. Let me write that down. That's another thing. Let's see. I got a T-shirt. I was going to do Are you stupid? That was the T-shirt I was going to make. You put it on the back of the on the shirt, so you don't got to look at people when they read it. They can ask themselves, "Am I stupid?" And then reclamation of our nation. That's right. And then the other one I had last night was, the other couple of days was an information dissemination operation, right? It's smart to do things in rhymes. People remember it better. That's right, Rusty. 80% of them in DC have dual citizenship. And I talked about that with Alexander Vidman and his brother. The heck with that. My mother had to renounce her citizenship. I don't see why they can run around. That's got to be done away with. And so does birthright citizenship. That's another story I'll get into. That was brought in by bureaucratic fiat. So Trump put out a post about the Federalists. The Federalists put up, there is only one U.S. leader Putin actually fears. Trump has already established a reputation with Putin that he is not to be messed with and won't shy away from a battle with the Kremlin. Well, Trump posted that on there, but he also added that actually he had a good relationship with Putin. He said, I actually got along very well with Putin. There would be no Russia-Ukrainian war right now if I were president. All of those lives would have been saved. All of those people would be living and healthy right now. So there's really no denying that. And I'll tell you something else that Mr. T said I want y'all to think about. Just before the indictment got handed down, he said that we were heading to a nuclear war, right? And he said that get down and pray. He also said that I am the only one who can stop this war. That I can do it. I could do it in 24 hours. Remember that, folks? Well, he also said on an interview, he said, I can't tell you what I would do or what I would say because I'll give up the essence of what I'm going to do. And that's when I said, it's the art of the deal, it's the essence of the deal. But he also said, I can't do it if I'm not in a powerful position, namely president. So I take that into consideration. I like I say, I cogitate on what Mr. T says. And I try to put two and two together. And he said he's the only one. And he said, I will prevent war. I will prevent, not saying I might, I can if you'll let me or nothing like that. He said, I will. And later on in another interview, he said, I can do it, but only if I'm in a position of power, the president of the United States. So he's saying he will stop it. So keep that in mind for, we don't know. We don't know what's in the cards. And his discussions, some things he puts out are to scare the DS, right? Get them scared. But I want to tell you about this poll, aggregate poll of all voters. If the primaries were held today, that Ron DeSantis would beat Donald Trump by 10 points if the primaries were to be held today, did you all see that poll? Well, I got to tell you something. April Fools. Ha 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 ha. I feel, hey, we only got 2 or 3 hours left of 4 hours if you're over on the West Coast. April Fools. I had to get one in. Had to get a April Fools in. Now, the Sun came out with another article. It's a thing on YouTube called The Sun, and I brought them up before, where they put out stuff to scare people. Last night it was about the sunspots. I guess in the past there was stuff about mosquitoes carrying illnesses and stuff like that. And now, what did they come out with earlier today? I'll read it to you. Just a short title. Famous psychic says explosive new UFO footage, quote, proves that aliens are watching us in order to prevent nuclear war. And I told you that another channel, Forbes magazine, was putting out a lot of heavy-hitting direct quotes from DJT, right, on UTISL. And that they were a foreign entity was trying to buy out Forbes. The company name was Sun Corporation. So now you got this group putting the stuff about psychics and UFO footage, and they're watching us to prevent a war, a WW3 and a nuclear war. Oh, they're bringing that stuff out just in time when Mr. T was saying, I'll stop it. I'm going to stop it. So, yeah, a lot of people get involved in that stuff and waste so much of their precious time dealing with stuff like that. But I could see Sun Corporation wants to shut down Forbes while Forbes is putting out videos of Mr. T. Yeah, okay, I get it now. So anyway, did you hear that the Austrian parliament had a bunch of people get up and walk out? Zelensky went up there to make a speech. And as soon as he started talking, a whole bunch of them just didn't say nothing. Cameras rolling, middle of a speech, just got up and walked out of the parliament. So the world is catching on to this nonsense. And I do want to answer, there was a couple of questions about what is NESARA. And I know a lot of people know and a lot of people don't know. NESARA, GESARA, National Economic Security Recovery Act. And the GESARA is Global Economic Security Recovery Act. Okay? That's where they're going to, make sure that the monetary system's safe, that legal tender is worth something, so there isn't human suffering. Okay, that's what NESARA and GESARA is. One is national, one is global, and that's something Clinton signed back in the day. So that's just a general answer for folks out there. Okay, I'm reading y'all's comments. Two Blosses are they watching us from Antarctica? Well, somebody's watching us. We all got these phones where everybody can see what we're doing. There's probably somebody over there in Bay and then the other part is Jing looking at me right now. I feel sorry for them if that's their job. That's right, James. Buy silver if you can find it. Diversify your portfolio. Have precious metal because What is that little operation? Have you all heard of Operation Sandman? Sandman, I'm not talking about Nick Sandman either. How many people have heard about Operation Sandman? And I'll get into it in a minute. I just want to see how many people have heard about it. And by the way, this is a viewer supported and creator supported broadcast. I don't get any assistance from any platforms. And I have a buy me a coffee link in the description for anybody that wants to help an old man out. I do appreciate it. And I got a banner up there saying channel support, link in the description. Buy me a coffee if you want to be part of the coffee crowd. Let's see. And now Bubba said, when I post my comment, my screen goes black. Oh, I can see your comment, Bubba. Let's see. I'm just going through to see if anybody. Kicking Bird. Kicking Bird giving the aliens a full moon. Sandman. Money boom. Is that what that says? Now, this is real, folks. This is not, this isn't something coming up on some of these channels. You know, we're talking about a Vatican time machine and moon bases being blown up and galactic battles and all this stuff. Miss Mindersu says, not sure what Sandman means. Can you explain, please? It's an operation. Anne says she knows that. It's called Operation Sandman. Operation Sandman. And there's proof of that operation by what happened when representatives of CHYNA went down there to see Loose Screw and Brazizzle. And they agreed to do business only in the Yuan and the Real. The Real is Brazizzle currency, and the Yuan, YUAN, is CHYNA's currency, right? They're not going to deal in dollars. Operation Sandman is rumored to be where they're getting a lot of BRICS nations together, and they are going to, one, sell off U.S. Treasury notes en masse. And it's also been reported that CHYNA has been selling off a pretty historical amount of U.S. Treasury notes, dumping them, getting rid of Treasury notes, which is something that helps establish a worldwide credit rating. So these BRICS nations are going to be dumping Treasury notes and also are going to disdain the US dollar and move towards a precious metal-backed currency. That's what Operation Sandman is supposed to be. That they're going to be dumping U.S. treasuries, and they're going to not deal in the dollar, which I've said many times, Putin called candy wrappers. Andrew Jackson called central bank money rag money, because, you know, if it's not backed by precious metal, and they can forget anybody considering legal tender beyond the collectability of it or utility of it. Bitcoin is going to have to be backed by another form of legal tender. In other words, it'll be a way of transferring money electronically. but it's going to have to be backed by precious metals. That is supposedly the goal of Operation Sandman. Sell off U.S. Treasuries, ditch the dollar, go to precious metals, and they're going to try to synchronize it where it's going to be a gut punch, a gut punch. Now, we have the largest country in South America, in our hemisphere, that's not going to deal in our dollars anymore. Yeah, BRICS, and that's BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. But there are other countries joining every day, and that is they called the G7. This is going to kick the props out of the G7. The G7 ran the world, right? As far as financially. Through the petrodollar, the Federal Reserve, and the central banks. They were called the Golden Billion. And as I said last night, the Eastern news agencies are saying, well, we are the Golden 3 billion. Boy, I tell you, that Pink Floyd song's coming to fruition. I mentioned in some states there's a heavy concentration of the alphabet community for such a small part of the population in the teaching industry. And it just reminds you of that song. I don't want to get a copyright strike by playing it, but a lot of us know that song. You know, hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. And the beat that goes with it. I mean, that's what we need to do. We need to start playing that at Mr. T's rallies. Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. And Richard said, Operation Sandman equals dropping a gigantic sandbag on the dollar. So, well, you know, I don't know if it is a formal agreement or what the story is on it, if it's a nickname. But the bottom line is, I was talking last year about BRICS. I was talking about Putin going to a gold-backed currency, and I put up a graph how the euro just plummeted in value compared to the ruble. And as it's continuing, the ruble's getting stronger and stronger. I don't know what the rates are in Brazil. Yeah, well, I don't know if Mexico can join BRICS because of the treaty that they signed with Mr. T. Canada, right? Signed that treaty, and so did Mexico. And that is the other thing I was going to bring up, how Lula down in Brazil just did whatever he was told by Xi. And also Bolsonaro's coming back and not worried about being accosted or arrested. Because if Brazil had a treaty with CHYNA prior to Lula taking over, remember I said treaties are very powerful between nations. And that may have been done by Bolsonaro and the White Hats before Lula took over, using his own shaman. Like on J6, he had his own shaman. And now, boom, he's stuck with a treaty that he better honor. So the Mexico treaty, I don't know if that would preclude Mexico from joining BRICS or not. And Bubba, yeah, a guy in a brick suit at Mr. T. That's right, Bubba. Get everybody to eat your meat. That's right. Dottie, Bolsonaro went back to Brazil. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. He arrived back in Brazil. We covered that on I think it was last night. And man, we got a lot of footage going out here. That's why I'm saying don't worry about those pictures of the shoes on that attacker on the Christian school, because we don't want to knock out the story or take our focus off of how dangerous this philosophy is, because there's a lot of footage going around. Like one, there's a abortion protesters attack pro-life event at Virginia Commonwealth University. 2 arrested. And they play the video of it. You've got these people that I'll have to say are rather unattractive, pushing, shoving, yelling at these people who are pro-life. And it shows the line is drawn, okay? There's good and there's bad, okay? There's right and there's wrong, okay? And it's a time to choose. And when people start having trouble with hyperinflation, when BRICS, if they do what they're talking about doing, and we're not the top dog anymore, they're going to say, wait a minute, which way are they going to choose? There are some people who vote with their pocketbook, and there are some people that vote their conscience and their faith. And both have got to see, all right, there's a moral crisis that'll be towards the people who vote their faith. And then there's going to be an economic crisis, people that vote with their pocketbook. And then for all parties involved, there is going to be a crisis concerning armed conflict. So I think there's going to be 3 arenas where there's going to be things to look out for. But like I said last night, take care of your affairs, your immediate situation, and that of your families. And if something happens, do not freak out, because freaking out is not going to stop it. And there's going to be people coming to you for answers. And I tell you, my friend Bernie on his channel, I got to break it up because he's been taken down. It's called Truth, and the other part is Art TV. All right. He put out something very interesting. It says, guess what, digital soldiers? Our role is only temporary. That's right. Until the sheep wake up, once they see the full war for themselves, justice is implemented, and things are moving at lightning speed, I presume we won't be needed. We won't be needed. So there's an end to this darkness, but we're needed now. You were chosen for a reason, to fulfill your role now. Comfort others as things get worse. So we're not going to be in a crisis state forever. I mean, no civilization can sustain psychologically that kind of a burden. There's going to be a breaking point. And the thing is that the people involved are getting more highly defined, okay? And I use the word like that store, that shopping store, Target. If I use that in a different context, I could get in trouble, but they're being more defined as that. And they're being singled out. They're being identified. So we've got at least 2 judges, big time judges, and we'll probably find out many more, We've got the one down in Florida. And what was his name? Starts with an M. Middleton, maybe. And then the one up in New York, Trump was talking about by name. Been in there for 30 years, deciding big cases, causing a lot of troubles. We're going to be identifying more and more people that have no business behind that bench and making rulings. We're going to have a better idea who's got no business leveling formal charges against people. And thousands of people who have no business in positions of public trust. But you got to have the evidence. You got to be civilized. You got to follow the rule of law, and you got to have provable cause before the hammer drops. And it's going to drop, folks. So anyway, let me see what's going on in the comments. Okay, Nikki, thank you for stopping in, honey. Appreciate it. That's right, Debbie. How do you bring out truth? You must show them. You can't tell people. Now, we can tell each other things back and forth because we get it. It's getting them to the point of getting it. That's why I say, keep with the surface stories, the surface of the battlefield. The surface. The battle is a person who was either willingly walked into insanity or was driven into insanity, attacked innocent people. And that our representatives of our government, the entire news media, all the celebrities, all the corporations stood by the lunatic that attacked and the lifestyle they were leading and did not give one hoot about the victims. That is what is fact. We can point to news programs, we can point to advertisements, we can point to shows, celebrity shows, and we can point to what happened at that school. That's why I'm saying it is not smart to get into this business about what kind of shoes somebody was wearing. Like I said, when I could put Joe Biden's head on a cat in a meme, and I don't even know what the heck I'm doing and just doing it, playing around my cell phone. Or they could have switched the person out and been hiding them because they're a high value witness. We don't need to get into all that. With new people who are just waking up, the story is a school got attacked, people lost their lives, and nobody in positions of prominence gave any support or comfort to the victims, and they pushed towards glorifying the exact same lifestyle that caused that loss of sanity. That's the surface battlefield, folks. Don't fall for it. Care, I see what you're saying. We just went over that. The BRIC suit means BRICS. BRICS, the group that is rivaling the G7, changing the monetary system. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Hello, Mary, you're coming in. Hi, Chris. Joe Biden was in Nashville and met with the families. Who reported that, Chris? You're the news because you're the first one I heard from. It's admirable that you report the news. Jill was in Nashville, and Joe was saying that those people make up the soul of our nation. Let's see. I'm just looking through the chats. You have a blessed night too, Nikki. There's going to be there's going to be something is going to happen with the money situation. I mean, with all those big countries representing 3 billion people getting away from the petrodollar, which is our money. Our money is called a petrodollar, and they're doing away with it. They're getting away from it, and selling U.S. Treasuries, folks. Um, I'm not a financial expert, but I would say diversify your funds and get a little bit of precious metal if you can. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. That's okay, Chris. I see what you're saying. CBS News. Well, a Google account. I don't think it'll be a U.S. dollar collapse. I mean, let's hope not. But it's certainly going to be some belt tightening. It's going to be some belt tightening. It can't be anything but. So no matter what side of the fence people are on, politically, everybody wants their money to be worth something, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, whatever you are. Uh, when you see something as momentous as China selling off tons, I think they sold off more Treasury bonds than they have in almost 30 years, maybe. I can't. Don't quote me on that. And then you have these multiple countries just not having anything to do with the U.S. dollar, and multiple countries buying up gold and turning their currency into gold backed. Can you see what that recipe is for? And our dollars are backed by oil. When Saudi Arabia's got tons of oil, Russia's got tons of oil, the U.S. has got tons of oil. That's one thing Trump proved. We can be, we were energy independent. We've got more oil under our feet than either of those countries. But then you've got all these other countries that have got plenty of oil, like Venezuela's right in our hemisphere, right in South America. They got tons of oil. So, yeah, and that's what we peg our money at. Something that's almost as plentiful as water. That's going to be what's going to say the value of our money is. Hi, Cosette. All right, folks. You all have a great evening. I appreciate you joining me. Everybody in here, I thank you so much for giving me your precious time. And I hope you join me again. I'll be going live again tomorrow because you never know what's going to happen or what we're going to find out. But be not afraid, right? Be not afraid and be prepared. And I will see you tomorrow night. This is Mountain Man, over and out.